Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. In the background, we got Yes, Fragile playing. Beautiful, beautiful album from the band. I wanted to do another quick update. Like I said in one of the other videos, I'm doing a couple today just because I've gotten way behind and want to get all this stuff covered. And I will probably release these over the course of the next couple of days. So I probably recorded this a couple days ago if you're listening or watching it now. So let's go ahead and jump in. None of these are from the thrift stores. This is all stuff that I've purchased at the various spots that I frequent out here. Let's turn that down a little bit. That, however, was bought in the thrift store for 77 cents, and I talked about it on one of the recent videos that I did. So, first up, I picked this up at Second Charles, which is a, if you're familiar with it, used bookstore, used vinyl, used games. They cover a lot of stuff. But Molly Hatchet, Beating the Odds. Picked that one up for $7. You can see in the corner there. It was just one of the Molly Hatchet albums that I was missing. Next up, I think I paid $6 for this. Same place. Blue Oyster Cult, Extraterrestrial Live. Just a nice double live album from Blue Oyster Cult. Kind of cool artwork right there. I mean, this one's got all their hits on it. Godzilla, Don't Fear the Reaper, Dominant Submission, Cities on Fire. Great double live album. Definitely worth checking out if you're a fan. I guess we'll keep the live going. Styx, Caught in the Act Live. This one, I don't know if you can see it, I paid $2.99 for at CD Warehouse in excellent condition. I haven't listened to this one yet, but let's see. Sail Away, Mr. Roboto, Too Much on My Hands, Snowblind, Best of Times, Rockin' in Paradise, Blue Collar Man, Miss America. Pretty much most of their hits there. Next up, Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells. Oddly enough, you know, for most people, this is his best album. This was the one I was missing. I had his second, third, and fourth album, and I never got around to picking this one up. And I saw it for $4.99 at one of the used stores. It's in great condition, so I figured it's time to get that added to my Mike Oldfield collection. My favorite Mike Oldfield, it's going to drive me nuts now. It's the one with the airplane on the cover. Can't remember the name of it. I think it's his fourth album, and it was the first one that he did lyrics on. If I remember correctly, don't quote me on that. I may be making that up completely. So, I talked about this one in my last video, John Cougar Mellencamp, Scarecrow. Two biggest hits off of this one are ROCK in the USA and Small Town. I'm a big fan of John Cougar Mellencamp, like I've mentioned. He's one I'm working on filling out my collection. This was one that I was missing. And it's funny, this is one I passed up on probably the most. I see this one all the time, and I don't know why I never picked it up, but finally it was like $2.99, so I grabbed it. Scarecrow. Next up, I picked this one up at a mall, antique mall for $2 or $3. Down to Earth from Rainbow. A little bit of Richie Blackmore goodness there. And we got Yes playing in the background. So, Yesterdays. This is one of my favorite Yes albums. And it actually has my favorite Yes song. And that is America. Which is a cover of a Simon and Garfunkel song. And I believe they released it as a single. But if you haven't heard America from Yes, oh, you gotta check that out. The video's out there. You can find it on. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. But their version of Yesterdays, or I'm sorry, of America's amazing. And this is just a killer album from beginning to end. There's a couple songs off of their first 2 albums, and then there's also a couple of songs that were released, I believe, as movie soundtracks or as singles. Yeah, so America was on a comp. Let's see, looking around, first album. Time in a Word, I don't think that was ever released on any of their albums. Sweet Dreams, oh, I'm sorry, no, that was on their second album. Let's see what else was on here. Yes. Okay, so I guess the rest of it can be found on their first 2 albums. But this is basically an early best of album, I guess. But a killer album. Definitely worth having in your collection. So the next 2, I was pretty stoked to run across. The Psychedelic Furs, their first album. In pretty immaculate condition. It's a stamped promo. I think I paid $5 for it. Other than this little mark right there, it's just beautiful. I was pretty happy to find that. And then my favorite album from the band was Talk Talk Talk. I like this album beginning to end. By far my favorite, Psychedelic Furs. This one also a stamped promo. For those of you who are wondering who the hell the Psychedelic Furs are, the song Pretty in Pink from the album or from the movie Pretty in Pink, that would be them. But that's a great album right there. And I think I paid $4.99 maybe for that one. This next one, White Light, White Heat from the Velvet Underground. White Light, White Heat is one of my favorite songs from the Velvet Underground. This was a repress from a couple of years ago. The sound quality is horrible. I was pretty disappointed with this one. The other Velvet Underground represses that came out at the same time, I think sound really good. This one is just, I can barely hear what Lou Reed's saying. It's just really muddy. I haven't heard the original pressing of White Light, White Heat. It may sound just as bad, and it just may be that this is a cleaner version of a bad sounding album. Leave a note if it's just this pressing. Maybe there's another pressing I should check out, because I do love White Light, White Heat. Like I said, is one of my favorite songs. That and Sweet Jane are probably my 2 favorite Velvet Underground era Lou Reed songs. So, also picked up Devo, New Traditionalists. I'm 50-50 on that one. That's not my favorite Devo album, not my least favorite Devo album. But it's a cool album from beginning to end. It's definitely worth checking out. This next one is an album that every musician, if not every record collector, should have in their collection. And that's Jaco Pastorius. This album, and this is also a promo. I don't think it was a white label. I think it's just a stamp promo. Yeah. Just a regular Epic label there. This is Jaco Pastorius is, if not the one of the best, the best bassists of all time. He died very early. I want to say he was in his early to mid 30s. He was killed by a bouncer in a club. The fight that he got into was not necessarily. It was his fault. Apparently, the story goes that he went to see, I don't know if it was Frank Zappa or if it was the Mothers, but he went to see them and tried to force his way onto the stage. He ended up getting kicked out of there, went to a bar, and I don't know if he was drunk or high or what the situation was, but he ended up going through a plate glass window. I don't know the whole story about the fight with the bouncer, but the bouncer ended up killing him. And the bouncer ended up doing time for killing him. So I think it was involuntary manslaughter or something like that. But this has one of the best bass tracks, in my opinion, ever, and that's Portrait of Tracy. Listening to his finger picking and his harmonics, and the guy is amazing. His stuff with the Weather Report is also worth having in every collection. I think any of the Weather Report stuff is worth having anyway, but specifically the stuff with Jaco Pastorius, which I think he started on their third album and played for a few albums with them, but any of his stuff, I mean, you gotta have it. It's that good. So, the next two, U2 Boy and U2 October. I believe these were both first pressing, U.S. pressings. I can't remember off the top of my head. Picked them up the same day from the same antique mall. I think I paid like $6 or $7 a piece for them, so I was pretty happy with the price. I have probably their 5th, 6th, and 7th albums. I was missing their first couple, so. And then I don't know if I have it right here somewhere, I also picked up a copy of October. Yeah. I also ran across a Japanese pressing of October on CD. Next up, we've got Supertramp, Crisis What Crisis. This is by far my favorite Supertramp album. Very, very good. Definitely worth having in your collection. Some cool things about it. This is the first album I know of that did that. The yellow printed on the inside. And then also the yellow inserts. And if you take a close look, you will also see that this is a white label promo. So I was pretty stoked to find that out as well. I didn't notice it. I didn't even pay attention. I looked at the quality of the vinyl, and the vinyl is spotless, and that's the main reason that I bought it. And then kind of noticed that it was a white label promo later on when I got it home and threw it on the record player. But like I said, that's my favorite Supertramp album right there. I mentioned in my last video I've been working on completing my Bob Seger albums, or Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet. This was the third, the last that I needed. Against the Wind. I also picked up 9, their second live album. And then I'm still missing one more, but I'll end up finding it. These next 3 I was super, super stoked to find. Actually, these next 4. Emitting Diode. This is a bootleg from a festival in 1980 or 81 in Canada. This is the Talking Heads. It actually doesn't say Talking Heads anywhere on it. But this thing goes for, $30 to $50. It's crazy what it costs for this bootleg. It is a pretty good sounding bootleg. It's double album. The Talking Heads sounded great on here. They also had Nona Hendryx playing with them. She was doing additional vocals and backing vocals. And Nona Hendryx, became famous in her own right a few years after this. But a nice addition to my Talking Heads collection. So again, Emitting Diode. If you run across this for a decent price, pick it up. And like I said, I see this thing go all the way up to $50. It's crazy what it goes for. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it wouldn't have been more than $10 or $15. So next up. This one I was super stoked to find. Again, this one I see for $30 to $50 all the time. I want to say I paid 20 or less for it, but The Cure, Disintegration. I know you're thinking, Disintegration doesn't cost that much, $30 to $50. But you see right there, you got the gold stamp. And then we got the inner sleeve, and it's in excellent condition. And then you'll notice the label. And I don't know if you can see it right there. Oops. Promo not for sale. So this is a promo copy of The Cure, Disintegration. This is my favorite Cure album. I take that back. This is my second favorite Cure album. My favorite Cure album is right here. Faith and Carnage Visors. I'm not a big fan of Carnage Visors, but Faith is amazing. And should be in anybody's collection. Just a great, great album. So this would be my second favorite of the Cure albums. But to find a promo copy of it, I was pretty stoked, as I have already mentioned a number of times. So, and it's got and I think all of the promo copies have the same thing. pressed on high quality audiophile vinyl. When You Play It, Say It, and over 1 hour of The Cure featuring Fascination Street, which is not even close to my favorite song on there. So I find that kind of funny that they wouldn't put like Pictures of You or Love Song in that little spot right there. Regardless, next up, I was kind of stoked to find this because I've been wanting to check them out for a while. Treasure from the Cocteau Twins. I think that's how you say it. I've always been a fan of The Cure. And generally in that same discussion, the Cocteau Twins pops up. I didn't dig it, I gotta say. I picked it up, I listened to it, I listened to it again, just not feeling them. So, if anybody's interested in that album, maybe we can work out a trade, figure something out. This one I picked up, I believe, Friday, Thursday maybe. David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. I love Ziggy Stardust. I shouldn't say just. When I heard this album for the first time, I didn't really like it. I was like, man, he's lost his mind. He's out in left field. And then I put it in my car maybe a year and a half ago. I ran across it for like 50 cents at a yard sale on CD. So I threw it in my car with a couple of other CDs, and one day I threw it in, and it ended up staying in there and just for background music for like 2 weeks. And by the end of the 2 weeks, I found myself singing along to every single song on there. And now it's probably my second favorite David Bowie album. My first favorite is Space Oddity. I love that album. I love that song. But this one is a very close second. And I love every song on here. My favorite is probably Suffragette City and Ziggy Stardust. Starman is great as well. But again, I just find myself singing along to this whole album. So when I ran across this the other day on vinyl, I had to pick it up. So those are my recent finds. This will probably be my last video that I do. Like I said, I was doing a couple of them today. I hope you guys had a good 4th of July weekend. I hope everybody stayed safe, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good one. Take care of yourself.